Tout le monde captain Kangapi, Nateginake, yo saisi. Ensemble, la privée, l'union fait la force.
Haitian religion is a significant part of the Haitian culture. Haitian Vodou is a combined religion practiced in Haiti and the Haitian diaspora. Haitian Vodou, translated as African service, is a creolized form of Vodou and is the primary culture and religion of more than 8 million people of Haiti. The majority of Africans who were brought as slaves from the Guinea coast of West Africa and their descendants are the primary practitioners of Vodou. Vodou is a non-discriminatory and diverse religion. Practitioners are called Vodouists or servants of the spirits. Vodou originated in the Caribbean and developed in the French Empire in the 18th century. Among West African slaves, religious practice was actively suppressed and enslaved Africans were forced to convert to Christianity. Vodou is the result of the pressures of many different cultures and ethnicities of people being uprooted from Africa and imported during the African slave trade. Vodouists believe in a supreme god called Bandai, from the French word ban, meaning good, and dai, meaning God. Sometimes referred to as the good God, even though there is no evil God. Bandai is the highest principle in the universe and is responsible for both the universal order and human activity. Vodouists worship Bandai indirectly and directly in their worship towards spirits that serve Bandai, called Lo. Every Lo is responsible for a particular aspect of life. In order to navigate daily life, Vodouists cultivate personal relationships with the Lo through the presentation of offerings, the creation of personal altars, devotional objects, and in elaborate ceremonies of music, dance, and spirit possession. This religion heavily incorporates performance of arts into religion. Vodou has come to be associated in the popular minds with things like zombies and voodoo dolls. Not to be confused with hoodoo, pop culture mix African tradition and portrays them as voodoo. However, most of what is shown in books, movies, and television is actually hoodoo. Hoodoo, however, is neither a religion nor a denomination of religion. It is simply a form of folk magic. A voodoo doll doesn't actually symbolize a person in the respect that what happens to it happens to the person, but a doll which is only associated with the person in question. The voodoo doll in itself is not an evil or dark thing, but like many religious and secular symbols, it can be made dark by the person who has it. Haitian dolls used in voodoo are the ones found on altars and in graveyards. These dolls act as lucky charms and not for vengeance and are used to bless individuals and not curse them. Rather than cursing a person, these dolls send messages to the spirit world, enabling the living to contact dead loved ones. It is popularly described that voodoo is not simply a religion, but rather an experience that ties both body and soul together. The concept of tying that exists in Haitian religious culture is derived from the Congolese tradition, which is the practice of tying one's soul to something tangible. This tying of soul is evident in many Haitian voodoo practices that are still exercised today. Today, voodoo is practiced not only by Haitians, but by Americans and people of many other nations whom have been exposed to Haitian culture or anywhere Haitians have migrated to.